All right. Good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the 5 spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, creator, host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and rookie podcaster of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging out with me on the 40th episode of the Sports Edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. No, excuse me, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Live and direct from StreamYard alongside with YouTube, and of course, aside of myself is the Instagram live feed of the podcast show page. And yes, you missed any previous episodes whatsoever, please feel free to do some catching up. Everything's all uploaded on every streaming platform, and of course, YouTube as well, which is where you can grab that subscribe button from me on the Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast YouTube channel page, and alongside with tapping that no bell so you can be reminded of when the show goes in the air via live stream, alongside with the time of the recording as a reminder. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes. Be sure to actually download these episodes, especially your favorite episodes and stuff, which is important. And of course, tell a friend to another friend. More video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. In case you miss any of them, you can catch up. And yeah, and I think I'll handle where you can listen to every episode on every streaming platform at the end of this show episode right here. Now, I would like to say that I apologize for delaying episode 40, only because I plan on not only putting out episodes on Thursdays, but starting Wednesday of next week, the week of Thanksgiving, I am going to be putting out the episode. Some of the episodes are going to be on Wednesdays, and some of them are still going to be on Thursdays, which is Thanksgiving. And I hope y'all are ready for Thanksgiving. And of course, I hope y'all did some shopping already before Black Friday. But it depends on which store you go to, where you can get discounts and stuff. But I don't know. Like, not too many people really shop on Black Friday anyway because of how crowded it is. So yes, a little mental health check-in for a second here. How I'm feeling mentally, physically, and spiritually. Well, I know mentally and physically I am exhausted from a long day of work from Friday and Saturday, and I may have to be back on Black Friday because I know how crazy it's going to be. It's not just Big Lots that's going to be crazy. It's even the malls and every store that you could think of is going to be crazy on Black Friday and Christmas. So, you know what I'm saying? And I actually am looking forward to Christmas. I'm actually looking forward to Thanksgiving, and I'm actually looking forward to Christmas as well. So, yeah. So overall, mentally, physically, I was exhausted, but right now I feel refreshed. Overall, spiritually refreshed as well. So, without further ado, today's episode, episode 40, is going to be with some interesting topics in sports pertaining to not only Britney Griner, but also pertaining to Kevin Durrant. There's There's even Nike doing some big things right here. So, yes. So Today's episode is called so so Nike comes back with colorful things it's just for jerseys in basketball. Yes. So that's pretty much what this is. This is basically about um the colorful jerseys of each basketball organization. So we're gonna get into it. But first, obviously, in the sports world, on everybody's radar in regards to Britney Griner. So let's get into the main primary segment right here, the quick side bleacher bar. Let's get into it right here. Okay, first things first. First things first. Ladies first. Britney Griner. For those of you in the sports world that's new, that probably don't know what's going on, I will fill you in. So stick around. All right. So according to ESPN, Britney Griner has been relocated to a penal colony in Moldova. Moldova, excuse me. Penal. Oh my god. The word penal makes me laugh though, man. But anyway. Oh shit. Anyway, about 210 miles east of Moscow. To serve her 9-year sentence, her lawyers and agents said Thursday. The announcement by Griner's legal team was the first confirmation of the Americans' whereabouts since Russian authorities transferred her from a Moscow detention center nearly 2 weeks ago. A time frame typical for Russia's prison transfer system. Griner's absence has continued to weigh on all those in the basketball community who know and know and care about her as each milestone date has passed since 2022. So much time has passed. Griner has missed the start of the WNBA season, the All-Star game, the beginning of the playoffs, and the FIBA World Championship. She was expected to be a part of all of it, just as she had been for the past decade as a star center for the Phoenix Mercury and the U.S. women's national team. Instead, the 2013 number one draft pick and NCAA, WNBA, and Olympic champion has been detained in Russia since being arrested in February on charges that she brought vape cartridges carrying a small amount of cannabis oil into the country. Before I keep going, let me explain this to you and everybody out there in the sports world right here, folks. If you are going to international place like Russia or anywhere else for that matter, you cannot bring cannabis or any other type of drugs to Russia. Russia does not play, okay? And it's just and yes, people are saying that 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 Britney is a pawn, but in this case, you really gotta know that just because certain places in the certain states in the United States is um basically legalized cannabis and marijuana and all that other stuff doesn't mean that it applies to Russia or any other international places whatsoever. So I think you have to I mean, you gotta take responsibility, man. You know what I'm saying? You really have to, you know what I'm saying? Like look, it's like yes, it's heartbreaking, but no one told you to ruin your basketball career. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy. It's just crazy, you know? It's very crazy right there. I mean, news outlet has actually been talking about this for the past couple of weeks. But this is just the this is just the this is just the update of what's going on with her. So this is just crazy. That's crazy though, man. And as we continue with this story, Griner was sentenced to 9 years in prison in August, and her appeal was denied October 25th, 250 days since she was arrested. Now, I did hear that it's been delayed to December. We don't really know what the December date is going to be, so we're not even there yet. So most of the sports media outlets will probably cover this. So you know what I'm saying, and I might, I might be back with the update on this one too. So anyway, man, that right there is crazy though, man. Yeah, the United States continues to try to negotiate for her freedom, along with that of fellow American prisoner Paul Whelan. Griner's Griner's fellow professional basketball players in both the WNBA and NBA keep saying her name. NBA Finals MVP Stephen Curry gave public support to Griner on October 18th, her 32nd birthday, and the night of the Golden State Warriors ring ceremony, telling the crowd, "We hope that she comes home soon and that everybody's doing their part to get her home." Griner's ordeal began as she was returning to Russia to finish her overseas season there. When it when it will when it will end and how the lengthy detention will affect the rest of her life and career is unknown. Here's a look up at the events of the past 8 months while Griner has been imprisoned and how the White House and those closest to her have tried to do all they can to bring her home. So starting with February 17th, Mercury Star is detained while traveling to Russia to play overseas. In the offseason, Griner is detained at the airport. Well, I'm not gonna really butcher this name, so I'm not gonna really do that. Oh, wait, Sherry me. Let me just say airport, man. Let me just say airport because it's certain things. Listen, there's certain things that's hard to pronounce and difficult to pronounce, so I'm not even gonna really butcher the name of the airport. So the airport in outside of Moscow. After customs officials alleged they found vape cartridges that contained oil derived from cannabis in her luggage. Griner was returning to play for club team UMMC E E Cater Ekaterinburg in Russia, where she has competed in the WNBA off season since 2014. There is no public announcement of her arrest. February 24th, Russia invades Ukraine, obviously. Russia military forces on the orders of Vladimir Putin invade Ukraine, triggering a series of harsh economic sanctions from the United States and other Western nations that complicate efforts by U.S. officials to bring Griner home. March 5th, news breaks of Griner's detainment. The Russian Federal Customs Service, as first reported by the New York Times, announced it has Griner in custody on drug charges. The WNBA and Griner's agents say they are working to get her home. Griner faces a maximum sentence of 10 years. Russia has harsh drug laws with no exceptions for cannabis under any circumstances. March 6th, U.S. Secretary of State discusses Griner's detainment. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says the United States will provide every possible assistance to citizens who are being held in foreign countries. We have an embassy, team that's working on the cases of other Americans who are detained in Russia. He adds, "We're doing everything we can to see to it that their rights are upheld and respected." March 17th, Russian. Hold on a second. Yes, March 17th, Griner's detention is extended. Is extended rather. Um, Russian media reports that Griner's detention has been extended until May 19th, which means she will be held at least 3 months before her case is resolved. The prosecutor requested the detention to continue investigating Griner's case. March 17th, U.S. State Department tells ESPN it has not had access to Griner. Although she has been detained a month, U.S. officials say they they still haven't spoken to Griner since she was arrested. A State Department official issues a statement to ESPN saying, "We insist the Russian government provide consular access to all U.S. citizens detainees in Russia, including those in pretrial detention, as Britney Griner is." The source close to Griner said they have gotten frequent updates on her from her team of Russian attorneys. "I wouldn't say she's good, but she's okay," the source said. The statement marks a slight but significant change in the government's tone when it comes to Griner. Until now, the government has deliberately kept a low profile with her case, hoping not to increase her profile to the point where she might become a valuable political asset to the Russian government. It generally has avoided commenting at all, and when Blinken was asked about Griner at a news conference last week, he gave a tepid statement that did not mention her by name. Based on State Department guidance, Griner's representatives have asked the WNBA, NBA, the media, and Griner's supporters generally keep any attention to her case on a low simmer, as one source said. March 23rd, U.S. officials meet with Griner. Um, U.S. consular officials visit with Griner in Russia for the first time, reporting she's doing well. The U.S. State Department has said Russian officials were denying them access to Griner and two American men who are in custody, contrary to international law requirements. Yeah, the law is different from the United States compared to Russia, unfortunately. So it doesn't apply to Russia. So that's pretty much different. So March 30th, WNBA players break silence on Griner, hesitant to talk about Griner's detention and potentially her case. WNBA players have said little since her arrest, but Breanna Stewart and Angel McCoughtry discussed WNBA salaries and why a handful of players head to Russia every offseason. The big thing is that the fact that we have to go over there. It was BG, but it was but it could have been anybody. Breanna Stewart, who earns over $1 million to play in Russia, told the Associated Press, "WNBA players need to be valued in their country and they won't have to play overseas." Per the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement, which runs through 2027, players are paid an average of $130,000, with top players able to earn more than $500,000 through salary marketing agreements and in-season tournament and bonuses. April 11th, WNBA commissioner assures league working toward Griner's return. Ahead of the 2022 WNBA draft, Kathy Angelbert said the league is doing all it can to bring her home. This is an unimaginable situation for BG to be in. The WNBA commissioner said, "She continues to have our full support. Certainly, we're trying everything we can, every angle, working with her legal representation, her agent, elected leaders, the administration, just everybody in our ecosystem to try and find ways to get her home safely and as quickly as we can." Angelbert also announces that Griner's BG's heart and soul shoe drive. which has collected new and gently used shoes for homeless people in Phoenix, will be held in all 12 WNBA cities throughout the upcoming season. April 27th, former U.S. Marine released from Russian custody in prisoner exchange. Trevor Reed, a former U.S. Marine who has been held in Russia since August 2019, is unexpectedly released from Russian custody in exchange for Russian Konstantin Yaroshenko, who was serving a 20-year sentence in the United States for smuggling drugs. The exchange is the first hopeful sign for Griner's family that a diplomatic channel remains open between the two countries despite the war in Ukraine. May 3rd, U.S. Department of State declares Griner a wrongful detainee. The U.S. government now considers Griner to be wrongfully detained by the Russian government, signaling a significant shift in how officials will try to get her home. The United States will seek to negotiate her release rather than wait for the Russian case against her to come to a conclusion. Additionally, Griner supporters have kept a low profile up to this point in the event she might be released before facing trial. But after the announcement, they actively pressed the White House to bring her home. Sources say Bill Richardson, the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, is working with his organization to secure Griner's release. May 3rd, WNBA announces it will honor Griner with season-long tribute, just days ahead of the 2022 season openers. The WNBA says a decal with Griner's initials and number 42 jersey number will be installed on every court around the league. May 13th, Griner detention extended 30 days. Russian state media says Griner might be traded for convicted Russian arms dealer. Griner appears in court in Moscow as her pretrial detention is extended by 1 month. At the same time, the Russian state news agency TASS publishes a story saying there were negotiations between the United States and Russia to exchange Griner for Victor Bout, a Russian man serving a 25-year sentence in the United States for financing terrorism. American government officials speaking to ESPN expressed skepticism about the reporting, saying it was likely a tactic to pressure the U.S. government. May 17th, NBA commissioner says league working to bring Griner home. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver tells ESPN's Malika Andrews that the league is working side by side with WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelbert to bring Griner home, adding that the NBA was following the advice of experts when it did not take an aggressive approach during the early stages of Griner's detention in Russia. End quote. We've been in touch with the White House, the State Department hostage negotiators, every level of government, and also through the private sector as well. Silver said, our number one priority is her health and safety and making sure that she gets out of Russia. May 20th, the State Department continues to push for regular contact with Griner. For the second time in the week, a consular officer gains access to Griner, but the State Department maintains that sporadic visits with the WNBA star are not sufficient. Our message is clear and simple one. We continue to insist that Russia allow consistent and timely consular access to all U.S. citizen detainees. State Department Representative Ned Price said, One-off visits are not sufficient, and we will continue to call on Moscow to uphold its commitments under the Vienna Convention for consistent and timely access as well. May 25th, Sherelle Griner calls on President Biden to help bring Griner home. In her first televised interview since Griner was detained, Cheryl Griner says she hasn't spoken to wife Britney Griner since February 17th, the day the WNBA star was arrested in Russia. There's one person that can go get her, and that's our president. Griner told Angela Rye in an interview on ESPN. He has that power. I'm just like, why are we not using it? Like, urgently use it. We're expecting him to use his power to get it done. Cheryl Griner also spoke with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America the same day. Of course, early June, United States secretly offered Russia a trade for Griner's release. The United States secretly offers a trade bout for Griner and Paul Wem, another American considered to be wrongfully detained and who has been in Russian custody on espionage charges since December 2018. The offer is not reported until late July. June 20th, Cheryl Griner, zero trust in our government after Griner's calls go unanswered due to logistical errors. More than 4 months since they last spoke on the phone, Griner was expected to call wife Cheryl Griner on the couple's fourth wedding anniversary on June 18th. But more than a dozen calls from Griner went unanswered through the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, which the couple had been told would patch the call through to Cheryl Griner in Phoenix. Instead, the calls went unanswered because the desk at the embassy where the phone rang was apparently unstaffed Saturday, Cheryl Griner said. We deeply regret that Britney Griner was unable to speak with her wife because of a logistical error, the State Department said Monday. And I find it unacceptable, and I have zero trust in our government right now. Cheryl Griner told the Associated Press, if I can't trust you to catch a Saturday call outside of business hours, how can I trust you to actually be negotiating on my wife's behalf to come home? The following day, Biden administration officials said the call was rescheduled. July 1st, Griner's trial begins. The trial opens with Kim Key, a Moscow suburb, on charges that Griner tried to smuggle drugs into Russia. The trial is adjourned until July 7th. July 4th, terrified Griner sends letter to Biden White House. Officials confirmed President Joe Biden received a handwritten letter from Griner appealing for her freedom. I'm terrified. I might be here forever, Griner writes in a SERP released by her representatives. I realize you are dealing with so much, but please don't forget about me and the other detainees. Citing her father's military service, Griner writes, the 4th of July has new meaning to her. It hurts thinking about how I usually celebrate this day because freedom means something completely different to me this year. July 6th, Biden Harris calls Cheryl Griner. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris speak with Cheryl Griner to reassure her that they are working to win Griner's freedom as soon as possible, the White House said. Cheryl Griner, who also spoke at a rally in Phoenix later that day, says, I am hopeful in knowing that the president read my wife's letter and took the time to respond. I know BG will be able to find comfort in knowing she has not been forgotten. July 7th, Griner pleads guilty to drug charges. Griner pleads guilty, but says she accidentally brought hash oil into Russia and did not intend to break the law. Under Russian law, admitting guilt doesn't automatically end a trial, which will continue until the entire prosecutor's case is read into the record. Witnesses also are called the guilty plea. Is viewed by experts as a strategic move since the overwhelming majority of cases end in convictions. And that's from Quinn on ESPN Daily. Griner's guilty plea explained. July 10th, WNBA honors Griner at 2022 WNBA All-Star Game. The WNBA All-Stars each wear Griner's number 42 jersey in the second half of the mid-season showcase. Griner was named an honorary All-Star when rosters were released in June 22nd. Prior to the All-Star game, Nneka Agwu-Mike, the president of the WNBA Players Association, joined Cheryl Griner, the Reverend Al Sharpton, Seattle Storm star Sue Bird, and union leader Terry Jackson for a news conference calling for mercy in Britney Griner's sentencing and focusing on her humanity. July 14th, Russian teammate GMs support Griner in court. Griner has been an exemplary player and citizen during her 6 seasons in Russia. 2 members of Griner's Russian club team tell the judge as they appear as character witnesses in her trial. UMMC Ekaterinburg teammate Evgenia Billie Akova and Maxim Ryavkov. The team's general manager appeared during a brief afternoon court session while Griner sat in the defendant's cage not far away. Their appearance is believed to be the first in-person contact Griner has had with anyone she knows, other than the Russian attorneys hired for her case since she was arrested February 17th. July 15th, lawyer argues Griner allowed to use marijuana for pain. Griner's lawyer gives the court a letter from a U.S. doctor recommending she use medical cannabis to treat pain. The defense also submits tests Griner underwent as part of an anti-doping check, which didn't detect any prohibited substances in her system. July 19, President Biden signs an executive order. The White House announces that President Biden is signing an executive order to hold anyone involved in the wrongful detainment of an American citizen accountable. It is meant to create a deterrence for foreign governments. July 20th, Diggins Smith, Agwu Mike, advocate for Griner's release at ESPYs while honoring the WNBA for being recognized as the Sports Humanitarian League of the Year. Nneka Agwu Mike, Steph Curry, and Skylar Diggins Smith paused to encourage the sports community to continue to work to free Griner. BG is a WNBA champion. She's an eight-time WNBA All-Star, a national champion in college, an Olympic gold medalist. Agwu Mike said. An athlete. She's an athlete who has fans all over the world. A human being whose predicament demands our attention, added Curry. We urge the entire global sports community to continue to stay energized on her behalf because Britney isn't just on the Phoenix Mercury. She isn't just on her team in Russia. She isn't just an Olympian. She's one of us. July 27th, U.S. makes significant offer for prisoner swap. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announces the United States made a significant offer for Griner's release in June. CNN reports that the offer included trading bout for Griner and Willem. July 28th, Russia responds negotiations should be kept quiet. Russian officials say that any possible prisoner swap with the United States involving Griner should be conducted without fanfare and only after the completion of Griner's trial. Normally, the public learns about it when the agreements are already implemented. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said. August 2nd, WNBA players will skip playing in Russia this offseason. Former UMMC Ekaterinburg players such as Jonquel Jones and Brianna Stewart will not play in Russia this WNBA offseason. August 4th, Griner found guilty, sentenced to 9 years. Griner is sentenced to 9 years in prison. During sentencing, Judge Anna Sotnikova says she had found that Griner intentionally broke the law and also fined her 1 million rubles, which is about $16,700. The conclusion of the trial is expected to allow negotiations for a prisoner swap to accelerate. The 9-year sentence was close to the maximum of 10 years that Griner had faced under the charges. Prosecutors had asked for a 9.5-year sentence. Griner's defense attorneys say they will appeal. That same night in the WNBA, members of the Phoenix Mercury and Connecticut Sun stand arm in arm in a circle at half court to their game to observe a 40-second moment of solidarity, for Griner. August 15th, Griner's defense team appeals conviction. In an unexpected move, Griner's lawyers, Maria Blagovolina and Alexander Boykov filed an appeal of her 9-year prison sentence for drugs possession. After Griner's conviction, Blagovolina and Boykov said the sentence was excessive and that in similar cases, defendants have received an average sentence of about 5 years, with about a third of them granted parole. September 16th, President Biden meets with Cheryl Griner at the White House. President Joe Biden meets with Cheryl Griner and Elizabeth Whelan, sister of the detained former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, in separate meetings in the Oval Office to reassure the families, that the detainees are at front of mind, White House officials say. October 6th, Griner at weakest moment in Russia, wife says. Appearing on CBS Mornings, Cheryl Griner says Britney Griner is at her absolute weakest moment in her life right now, ahead of her hearing to appeal her 9-year prison sentence. She's very afraid about being left and forgotten in Russia, Cheryl Griner said. October 25th, Russian court rejects Griner's appeal of a 9-year sentence. With Griner appearing via video conference, a Moscow court rejects her appeal of a 9-year sentence on drug charges, an anticipated result in a trial that U.S. and international officials have called an illegitimate proceeding. Several officials have said in recent weeks that they believe Russia will not engage seriously in negotiations for a prisoner exchange until after the U.S. midterm elections November 8th, not wanting to give the Biden administration a political victory. November 9th, Griner moving to Russian Penal colony, exact location unknown. Griner is being transferred to a Russian penal colony, but her lawyers don't know where she is or where she's headed. Her Russian legal team announces from Moscow. The transfer began in early November, her lawyers say, far ahead of the schedule they had anticipated after Griner's appeal was denied October 25th. Typically, her attorney has said a transfer takes weeks or months. Griner's attorneys and U.S. officials were not aware she had been moved until November 8th. November the 17th, Griner moves to penal colony in Mordovia. Griner was transferred to a penal colony 200 plus miles southeast of Moscow. Her lawyers say her legal team said Griner had been taken to female penal colony IK-2 in the town of Yavas in the Mordovia region. We can confirm that Britney began serving her sentence at IK-2 in Mordovia. We visited her early this week, lawyers Maria Blagovolina and Alexander Boykov say in a statement. Britney is doing well as could be expected and trying to stay strong as she adapts to a new environment, they continued. November 18th, U.S. Department of State Russia's public statement runs counter to lack of negotiating. Shortly after a potentially promising Russian statement about negotiations to bring Griner home, the U.S. Department of State issues a quick dismissal. Sergei Ryabkov, the Russian deputy foreign minister, was quoted by Russian media early November 18th, saying there was new activity in talks that could see convicted arms dealer Victor Bout, who is currently serving 25 years in a U.S. prison, return to Russia. But a State Department spokesperson fired back that Russia still has not seriously engaged in negotiations, no matter what Ryabkov said. We are not going to comment on the specifics of any proposals other than to say that we have made a substantial offer that the Russian Federation has consistently failed to negotiate in good faith, the statement said. The U.S. government has continued to follow up on that offer and propose alternative potential ways forward with the Russian government. The Russian government's failure to seriously negotiate on these issues in the established channel or any other channel for that matter runs counter to its public statements. Well, yeah, I don't know, man. This is pretty tough, man. This is pretty tough, man. And I have to say, man, this is pretty tough though, man. I really don't know how, man, it's crazy how they taking man long, but I don't know. This is gonna be a while. This is gonna be a while though, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's move on to some NBA rumors in the air while we on basketball right here. So okay, let me see. Okay, let's get into. So there's been some rumors about Kevin Durrant being traded to the Lakers, right? Well, here's the scoop about this, and this is according to the NBA analysis.net. You got to do what you got to do. I do, and you do too. It's an aphorism. It's an aphorism. Why wouldn't you have to do what you have to do. NBA teams have got to do what they've got to do too. Sometimes that means making a difficult decision. A look around the NBA right now reveals a lot of teams with difficult decisions to make. The Los Angeles Lakers are one. The Brooklyn Nets are another. Both of these star-studded teams were supposed to be contending this season. So far, they both fallen well short of those expectations. Um, with that in mind, either these teams could make a difficult decision this year. It may be what they have to do. Here's a blockbuster that would shake both teams up in a major way. Okay, so all right, so Brooklyn Nets receive Anthony Davis, 2027 first round pick, Los Angeles Lakers. 2029 first round pick, LAL, Los Angeles Lakers, yes. Los Angeles Lakers receive Kevin Durrant. Of course, if you've been following the NBA, you know the Nets almost had to trade Durant this summer. After all, he requested a trade. Typically, teams are compelled to honor those requests. The Nets decided to wait Durant out, and eventually he rescinded the request. Still, if the Nets don't start meeting expectations, it wouldn't be a shock if he issued another one. By contrast, this is not what most Lakers fans expect their team to do. Generally, most would have them trading Russell Westbrook. With that said, finding value for him may be difficult. Generally, it's accepted that we move Westbrook. The Lakers would have to attach draft capital to his contract. That isn't so when it comes to Davis. And still imagine the value they would get if they were willing to include draft picks with him. Is Kevin Durant enough value? Why the Los Angeles Lakers do the deal? Obviously, in some respects, this deal would exacerbate issues the Lakers already have. This team is old, financially bloated. Oh shit. And low on draft capital. Adding Durant makes all of those issues more significant. Here's the thing. Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. The Lakers would now feature the two best players of their generation on the same roster. If that's not a recipe for success, what else could it be? Lastly, Durant should complement Russell Westbrook in a couple of ways. Firstly, he's an elite off-ball threat who opens up the floor for him. Perhaps most importantly, they have pre-existing chemistry from having played together on the Oklahoma City Thunder for a number of years. If this deal doesn't fix the Lakers, nothing will. What does it do for the Nets? Good question. That's a good question right there. That's a good question. All right. So, why the Brooklyn Nets do the deal? This is a less obvious move for the Nets. At the same time, it does open up some avenues for them. In pairing Ben Simmons and Anthony Davis, this team could give themselves a defensive identity. Assuming Kyrie Irving gets back to playing basketball soon, that could keep them competitive. All right, we'll be talking about the whole Kyrie Irving drama thing in a future episode. That's the key. That's key for the Nets. After all, this team owes its first round picks to the Houston Rockets through to 2027. They have no incentive to bottom out. At the same time, this deal recoups some of that draft capital. If the Nets could find rebuilding packages for Irving and Simmons in the event that this doesn't work out, they could pivot in that direction. If none of that sounds ideal for the Nets, that's because it isn't. Unfortunately, another direct request would have their backs against the wall. They may, in time, have to do what they have to do. And I think there's another I saw another hold on a second. Yes. And another Kevin Durant news from CBSSports.com. The Brooklyn Nets have been in the headlines nonstop since the start of the 2022-23 NBA season, and for all of the wrong reasons. First, there was the extremely underwhelming play of former number one overall pick Ben Simmons, who the Nets traded James Harden for in February. Simmons scored in single digits in the first 6 games he played with them. He played with the team, and he has since missed the past handful of games with a knee injury. Questions linger about when and if Simmons will return to his former All-Star self. Then there was the latest Kyrie Irving situation, which involved the team suspending him for at least 5 games after he shared an anti-Semitic video and refused to apologize for it, despite being given um, ample opportunity to do so. I'll do that in a separate episode about that. And that's a no-no right there. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. And of course, there was the firing of Coach Steve Nash after the team started 2-5. Nash was hired in 2020 and lasted only 2 full seasons before his time in Brooklyn came to an end. Suspended Boston Celtics coach um, Ime Udoka is rumored to be the Brooklyn's top target to replace Nash, despite the fact that Udoka isn't coaching the Celtics this season because of team policy violations. Overall, the Nets have had more drama in the past 3 weeks than most franchises experience over years of existence. And it's not like last season was distraction free for Brooklyn either, as it was highlighted by Harden forcing his way out of town and Irving being regulated to be part-time player due to his refusal to get vaccinated against COVID-19 dangerous disease. Um, all of that drama is unfortunate for the franchise, especially because it has overshadowed the on-court product and what has been a stellar start to the season for Kevin Durant. Durant is a former MVP, a 4-time scoring champion, and he's widely considered to be one of the greatest scorers that the game has ever seen. So far this season, he's scoring the ball at the highest rate of his entire career. So that's saying something. Through 10 games, Durant is averaging 31.5 points per performance while shooting 52% from the field. The only other time that he averaged more points per game was when he led the league in scoring with 32 points per game during the 2013-14 campaign. He also scored about a minute more per game that year than he has so far this season. On a per 36-minute basis, Durant is averaging more points, 30.4 than he ever has, while still shooting above his career average of 49%. Durant is leading the league in total points scored at this early point in the season. And his effort hasn't been limited to the offensive end either. With Brooklyn's roster lacking real rim protection, Durant has stepped his game up in that area, averaging averaging a career high 2 blocks per performance. At this point in the season, only 4 players have more total blocks than Durant. Yeah, Ivica Zubac, Nick Claxton, Bobo, and Brooke Lopez, all centers. Um, Plays like this one have been a common sight to see from Durant this season. Plus, there are the usual offensive highlights like crossing Wizards center Daniel Gafford into oblivion and then canning the jumper. At age 34, Durant still appears to be at or near the peak of his powers. That's why it's unfortunate that he's playing on a team where the focus has been on almost everything but basketball. Um, and a team that doesn't appear to be a legitimate contender, at least at the moment, despite Durant's greatness. That could change though, especially if Durant continues to play as well as he has thus far and gets some help. Maybe that help comes in the form of Irving returning his focus to floor or Simmons finally finding his stride. Durant is still good enough to be the top dog on a title team, but he obviously can't do it alone. Hopefully, as the season wears on, the focus in Brooklyn will shift back to to the floor and everything that Durant is doing on it, as opposed to the stuff that's happening off the floor and behind the scenes. Huh. Wow. Yeah, so that's crazy, man. This is crazy anyway. All right, let's get to another topic before I even go to let me see. So, next topic um has to do with tennis. Okay, so all right, so there's this let me see if I could actually so there's this place, if I'm not mistaken, um this is the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. All right. And this is basically okay, so this is basic it has a section of food and beverage. Of course, you can come experience all the food and beverage options the US Open has to offer, whether in the mood for a light snack, lunch, dinner, meeting friends for cocktails, or satisfying a sweet tooth. The US Open can cure any craving. Grounds map. New to the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. Check out the grounds map to help you get ready for your trip. Fan Access Pass. Fan Access Pass gives fans more access on the grounds as well as the chance to win tickets and prizes. Stay tuned for more information around the Fan Access Pass for 2023. US Open Fan Week. Thanks for coming to the 2022 US Open Fan Week. From watching the qualifying tournament to dancing with DNCE. We hope you enjoyed your experience on the ground. And of course, prohibited items and security. We want your US Open experience to be enjoyable and memorable. Every guest plays an important role in making sure that the experience is fun for all. From bag sizes to security procedures to prohibited items, find out everything you need to know before you go. And American Express on site perks. Find out what perks American Express card members are eligible for at the 2022 US Open. Accessibility, the USTA is dedicated to meeting the needs of guests with disabilities at the US Open. And of course, shopping at the US Open. A trip to the US Open isn't complete without a little shopping. You can check out the types of stores you can expect on site. Okay, so there's some tennis programs actually. So let's get into some tennis programs actually. Uh this is the this is the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center has several tennis programs throughout the year. So let's start with the fall 2022 fall schedule. Of course, for adults, there's evenings and weekends, weekday, daytime, 60 plus round robin, new stroke development. Excuse me. And then um, there's juniors, red, orange, green pathway, junior development, competitive training. And of course, there is the schedule. Okay, so hold on. So view absence notification policy below. Of course, absent notification policy. No makeups for missed classes or no shows. No refund or credit will be issued, and no carryover for missed classes. During each session, a seasonal clinic is offered. Students that provide at least 24-hour advance notice may be eligible for one free clinic registration subject to availability. Please see the terms of conditions. Of course, absence notification form at least 24 hours in advance of the absence. Spaces in clinics are limited. Credits, refunds, or carryovers will not be offered if you are unable to attend the seasonal clinic opportunity given or miss more than one class. We are unavailable to accommodate credits, refunds, or carryovers if you are unable to attend the provided clinic opportunity or miss more than one class. Clinics cannot be provided for same day cancellations, no shows, late cancellations. God damn. Let's see. Let's go over the full competitive training. Let's go over this. So this this is let's see. So transition pathway, of course, a transition pathway focus on players who are either transitioning into yellow balls and or aspiring to become competitive tournament players, while further emphasizing fundamentals, work ethic, overall ball control. Players will learn the necessary skills needed to be able to successfully be introduced to local and sectional competition. Of course, obviously, so feed the feeders. So this is from ages 9 through 12. On court, 120 minutes, 30 minutes fitness. And this is damn, what the hell? So 15 classes. Okay, let me get this straight. So Monday, 15 classes. Um Monday 15 classes, 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And this is unbelievable. Wow. So this is, oh my gosh, this is 1,185. Oh my gosh, wow. Wow. So this is between 1,185 thousand dollars. Oh shit. And $1,106. Damn. Damn. And for the academy, age 13 through 17, on court 90 minutes or 120 minutes and 30-minute fitness. So this is from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., $926.25 for Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sheesh. And Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., That's $1,106 for Saturday and Sunday. Sheesh. High performance pathway. High performance pathway follows the USTA player development coaching philosophy and concepts that are instrumental in long-term development of outstanding players. Our goal is to help players develop tournament mentality backed by solid parameters, fitness and strategic thinking, by providing an environment conductive excuse me con- conducive to personal excellence and a progression based teaching methodology. Our program focuses on developing and attracting serious junior tournament players with high aspirations such as college, tennis, and beyond. Oh my gosh. Okay, you can register at www.ntc.usta.com. That's for people who have kids between 9 through 12 and 13 through 17. Wow. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Why they charge so much, man? Yeah, so wow. So this is for the fall of junior development. So this is for it already started September 22nd of this year, and it's gonna end Friday, January 20th of 2023. So this is for NTC youth ages 8 through 12. Designed for young players with none or limited tennis experience. The focus is on learning overall athletic abilities and tennis specific skills. Engaging partner activities and games are designed to build a player's foundation in all the basic tennis strokes, so the player can move to 12 and under pathway once his or her skills are more developed. Use use of a variety of low compression balls based on players' needs in order to enhance the experience and speed up the learning curve for players. Racket size is 25 to 26 inches. Class length 90 minutes on court. And for NTC teens ages 13 through 17, designed for players with none or limited tennis experience, the focus is on uh, learning rules and basic concepts needed to rally. With cooperative activities, players will develop skills and learn the concepts needed to succeed at the next levels. Use of a variety of low compression balls. Oh shit. Um Based on the player's needs, um in order to enhance the experience and speed up the learning curve for players. Of course, racket size is 27 inches. Class length is 90 minutes on court. And for Tuesday, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., that's $776.25. And Friday is around the same price, same schedule, $776.25. And as for Saturday, 724.50. And the same goes for Sunday, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And of course, NTC teens, 5:30 p.m. To 7 p.m., which is $776.25. For Saturday, okay, 15 classes. This is 14 classes, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., $724.50. And the same goes for Sunday, 14 classes and stuff. So that's pretty much what this is. Let's see. Let's see. Let's take a look at it's gotta be an adult section right here. Um, yeah, all that is there actually. So let me just get to I want to get to the adult section. Okay, so adult tennis programs, all right. So 15 classes from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., $765 um for Monday and Tuesday. That's 15 classes. For Wednesday, 14 classes, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., $714. And for Thursday and Friday, 15 classes, $765 from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 14 classes. Oh shit. $714. Damn, that's a lot, man. And Novus 102, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. $765 for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, $714, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Um, yeah, that's 14 classes. Thursday, Friday, 15 classes, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., $765, and 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m., $765. Damn. So so Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., $714. That's a lot, man. Um, NTC rally, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., $787.50. Same price goes for Tuesday for 15 classes. Um, yeah. Wednesday, 14 classes, $735. Thursday, Friday, 15 classes, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., $787.50. Saturday and Sunday, 14 classes, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., $735. The same goes with Sunday, 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Oof. And the rest is just $787.50 for 15 between 15 classes to 14 classes. The same goes with Monday for NTC Gold, NTC Silver, um 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Of course, $787.50, $735. And this is 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Same goes with Sunday, same price, $735. Jeez. So there's serve 4 weeks. 4 weeks, $136. Everything is $136. So serve, volley, backhand, um, and yeah, and then there's And then there's number of weeks zone. So it's 2.1 through 3.0, 3.0 S and 3.5 S. 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. $720 for 15 classes for Monday and Tuesday. 14 classes, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. $672. So in between, it's 720 and $672 between 15 to 14 classes. Sheesh. Advanced zone 3.1 to 4.5, 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. $720 and $672. 14 classes, and the 14 classes is $672. Sheesh. All right, so there you have it right there. You can check out the website for yourself. This is going to be, let me just get the website before I go on. This is, like I said, the website goes like this. You can register for the tennis programs, which is at ntc.usta.com/tennis programs. You can check out all the individual stuff under fall schedule of juniors and adults. And for 2023 winter seasonal clinic schedule, you can take a look at that when we reach 2023 next year. You can take a look at that and go back to the website then, and you know the rest. All right, so let's get to the thing right here. Let me see. All right, so we go to this documentary right here. We go to this documentary right here that just came out a month ago. And okay. The Redeem Team is a new film documenting the story of the USA men's basketball team who went to the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games bidding to restore their nation's reputation. It's now available to stream worldwide exclusively on Netflix. The first collaborative feature documentary between the International Olympic Committee and Netflix. The film is executive produced by the two members of the Beijing squad who had also tasted defeat 4 years prior to, at Athens 2004, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. The documentary features never seen before footage from the Olympic archives, as well as new behind the scenes material from NBA Entertainment. There are also new interviews with those who were part of this iconic basketball story, including James Wade and head coach Mike Krzyzewski. With the documentary offering an original and fascinating portrait of team building, which herald the launch of a new era of Team USA men's basketball at the Olympic Games. It chronicles Team USA's journey from a disappointing bronze medal at Athens 2004 to a return to the top of the podium at the 2008 Games in Beijing. The U.S. team is considered one of the best ever assembled, featuring the legendary late great Kobe Bryant, Jason Kidd, Chris Bosh, and Chris Paul, in addition to Wade and Howard. Produced by the Olympic Channel, along with the Kennedy Marshall Company and Mandalay Sports Media, in association with the 59th and Prairie Entertainment Uninterrupted. NBA Entertainment, and USA Basketball. The film is directed by John Weinbach. And it's streaming exclusively on Netflix worldwide. You can actually check that out on Netflix. So you have to see for yourself, and I guarantee it's going to be pretty interesting. And let's see. All right, so what else do we have to talk about here? Let's see. Oh wait, Russell Westbrook. Yes. Russell Westbrook. Let's get into that right here. I forgot all about that. Oh boy. Yes, here we are. According to the Guardian. Hold on a minute. What's up with this? Hang on a second. Okay. All right. According to the Guardian, this is just according to the Guardian, which was published on Wednesday, November 16th. Long before I was ever anything close to what could be considered an expert on the NBA, I was something of an expert on relationships. I've always found human interaction fascinating. Uh, Relatedly, one of the many basketball hills I'm prone to die on is that it's a relationships business. Yeah, whatever. Chemistry, um, camaraderie, and general good vibes are not only important to team success; they are everything. So, needless to say, living in Los Angeles the last few years has made for intriguing proximity to one of the most interesting case studies on fractured relationships in the league, that between Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers. The present day Lakers are to put it in plain English, a mess. Damn. Placing the blame for that squarely on the shoulders of the Mercurial Westbrook is woefully reductive and certainly doesn't tell the full story. For starters, Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka just got a contract extension, which is somewhat puzzling given his less than stellar success rate in the years since the team's 2020 championship. Even dating back to a time before James signed with the Lakers in the summer of 2018, the industry has um kibitz about the front office's apparent ineptitude. But Westbrook's $47 million salary has certainly encumbered the team and limited any functional ability to build around its top tier superstars in James and Anthony Davis. To put the $47 million in perspective, it's almost $3 million more than James himself will make this season, and staggeringly more than everyone else on the team outside James and Davis makes combined. Directly or indirectly, Westbrook finds himself at the crux of the issue. Like many relationships, the Lakers and Westbrook felt doomed from the start. Sure, the Westbrook arrived in Los Angeles, which happens to be his hometown, for training camp in September of last year. The veteran point guard was coming off of an impressive season with the Washington Wizards. Okay, before I continue, let me just remind y'all, you can make a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is G Money Stacks 555, to support the weekly show podcast that I do, which is $ capital G lowercase MONEY capital S lowercase TACKZ 555. Once again, it's not about breaking the bank. It's all about doing the best you can as a human being on whatever amount you decide to choose and comfortable with and desire will be appreciated. And you can leave a 5-star rating on Podchaser, Podfriend, Apple Podcasts, and of course Spotify as well. 5 stars will be appreciated. So there you have it. Okay, so let me continue where I left off here. Okay. Okay, so see the Washington Wizards. Yes, so but the fit issues with the existing roster, especially James and Davis, um, were already glaring. Westbrook has never been known for his shooting accuracy and is notorious for playing best in situations where he can be the ball dominant scorer and orchestrator of the offense. He's also never been outstanding defensively. After 20 seasons of watching James in the NBA, one formula has remained battle tested and proven. Surround him with shooters to space the floor, a few enthusiastic and hard nosed defenders, and he will handle the rest. As talented as the one time NBA MVP Westbrook may be, he is realistically none of the above. It was a recipe for disaster, and a disaster it's been. As early as last Christmas, fans started clamoring for a trade, and Westbrook's interactions with those fans and their proxies in the media grew more and more tense. Um, the problem was, of course, that by the time it became apparent that the pairing was never going to result in a winning record, the Lakers would have had to incentivize a team to take Westbrook off their hands, namely by including their only two remaining tradable first round draft picks this decade in 2027 and 2029, respectively, and they've seemed to remain steadfastly unwilling to do so, especially without an apparent trade available that could catapult them into contention. Rumors circulated about a potential swap with Houston for then sideline guard John Wall around the trade. Around the trade. Oh man, around the trade deadline last season, but they never bore fruit. as and so one of James's last viable NBA seasons came and went without so much as an appearance in the play in tournament. Surely everyone watching assumed the Lakers wouldn't punt a second straight season by one of the greatest basketball talents to ever walk the earth. The trade rumors shifted from the whispers that had echoed during the season to downright full throat shouting in the summer. But the Lakers stood pat on Westbrook throughout the offseason. Instead, making some mostly lateral tweaks to the supporting cast, trading Taylor Horton Tucker and Stanley Johnson to the Jazz for spotty spark plug Patrick Beverly. Oh shit. Oh, swapping some of the aging veterans that rounded out the bench last year for younger talent and replacing Frank Vogel with first-time head coach Darvin Ham. Oh man. The Lakers opened the season at 2-10. The team's worst record through 12 games since the 2015 to 16 season. When they finished 17 and 65, Ham, to his credit, appears to have maintained a stubbornly optimistic outlook after a mostly disastrous first month. Following a loss to the Clippers marked by an and particularly lifeless second half effort that dropped the team to 2-9. Ham, while visibly dispirited, doubled down on his gratitude for the position, responding to a question about how he's handling the stress by saying, "I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm blessed. I wake up every morning and see the sun in LA. I get to go to work with a bunch of beautiful people. I get disappointed, but I never get down. If handed a ball of fire to hold on to, he truly seemed like the kind of guy who would profess gratitude for not being cold." But even with his aggressively sunny attitude and seemingly unshakable poise, he's hinted that the roster has its limitations, even going so far as to imply that Lakers ownership has concerns about the luxury tax. One early coaching move by Ham, which was initially promising, was the decision to bring Westbrook off the bench. The player came off surprisingly agreeable to the change at first, pretty much immediately, giving the Lakers impactful minutes within the first few minutes in his new role. After losses in their first 4 games of the season, the team won 2 in a row with Westbrook running the second unit, and an air of hopelessness was palpable around the locker room. After a particularly heartening overtime win against the New Orleans Pelicans, Ham confirmed that the move to the bench would be permanent. Admitting one of my goals selfishly is to get him in the conversation for sixth man of the year at some point. But even in more promising moments, it was clear that the move may not be a solution to the team's woes. Westbrook had been benched for all of the aforementioned overtime, and he seemed none none too pleased about it when he spoke to media after the game, even with the choice resulting in a notch in the win column for the floundering team. Ham seemed to um, tacitly acknowledge the ego issue plaguing the former MVP by praising him and then adding, in quote, "You have to know that, again, the team comes first. The name on the front of the jersey, it sounds a little old school and cliche, but the name on the front of the jersey, that's what matters the most because it's a long season." In so much as 13 games can be, it's been a long season already for Laker fans. During the last few seconds of a particularly demoralizing loss at home to the Sacramento Kings that sent the team to 2-10, James buried his head in his hands in consternation, and a fan behind me bellowed, "Trade the fucking picks." As Beverly and Westbrook both missed jump shots in back-to-back possessions. Even this early in the season, the Lakers have dug themselves such a profound hole that some have argued that trading Westbrook is a moot point. And based on the team's inaction thus far, it appears as if the Lakers front office might agree. The bench seem the bench move seems to be at least sort of working after all, and the team does only have 2 precious first round draft picks in their arsenal. But not moving Westbrook during this past offseason kind of feels like building a house on a haunted ancient um haunted ancient burial ground, and then being surprised when the cupboards keep opening themselves in the middle of the night. The damage has already been done. Russ clearly feels no affinity for or ownership of the team. All signs point to him being already mentally, emotionally, and spiritually moved on. This phenomenon of almost pathological detachment was perhaps best illustrated by Westbrook's media availability after the loss to the Clippers. Westbrook entered the press room literally grinning and humming Beyonce's Break My Soul. There doesn't seem to be a correlation whatsoever between Westbrook's mood and the team's win-loss record. To the contrary, it seems wholly dependent on how he himself played that night and whether or not he was awarded the minutes he feels he deserves. It's hard to blame Westbrook for feeling amb- ambivalent towards and even a little rebellious against the franchise and its fans. Chants of Westbrook aren't quickly forgotten, even if they are nowhere to be found this year. But this isn't about trying to suss out who's right or wrong or pointing fingers. The truth is twofold. This is one of the last meaningful seasons of James' career, and the relationship between Westbrook and the Lakers is fractured beyond repair. Yes, he's been better off the bench, but if you decide to break the lease on your apartment and break up with your partner because you fundamentally disagree on the idea of monogamy, oh man, does it really? Oh shit. This fucking metaphor is so laughable, folks. That's the reason why I'm laughing at this shit though. Does it really matter all that much if they start doing the dishes? Oh man. The rest of the Lakers supporting cast, of course, is lackluster at best. Moves made therein too would probably behoove the franchise. Uh, but but giving up on the season by not moving Westbrook and simply waiting until his contract expires is downright irresponsible stewardship of the twilight of James's career. A responsibility Palinka assured the press this summer that he doesn't take lightly. Even beyond that, with their first round pick next year potentially belongs to the Pelicans, the Lakers and their fan base don't stand to gain anything from another painful underperforming season besides an increased bill to their respective therapists. And as much as planning for the future is an understandable priority for NBA franchises, putting a product this poor in quality on the floor of Crypto.com arena 2 years in a row is a lot to ask of even the most loyal supporters. It's hard to it's it's hard to quantify what makes a relationship worthwhile. Any adult could tell you that finances, convenience, and a warm body to sleep next to have played a role in keeping some partnerships going longer than maybe they ought to have. But life is too short and no relationship is worth being miserable for. And it's pretty apparent that until drastic changes are made to this roster, including but not limited to the moving of Russ Westbrook, then he himself, the rest of his teammates, and the Lakers fan base will continue to be very miserable indeed. Wow. Wow, that's crazy, man. Um all right, so speaking of crazy, this is in sneaker news. So sneakernews.com is basically talking about Kiki Rice. Okay, so fresh off the fresh off the swoosh signing their initial class of student athletes, including Bronny James and college sensation Caitlin Clark, Jordan Brand 2 has announced their first ever NIL signee, signing the reigning Gatorade Nation National Girls Player of the Year and UCLA's freshman phenom Kiki Rice. End quote. It doesn't even seem real yet, Rice said. Growing up, I used to scroll through Jordan Brand's website and see the athletes they had or watch TV and be like, oh, they are a Jordan Brand athlete. To now be one of them, it's a dream come true and something I never really thought would happen. Now that it's official, it's the best thing that could have ever happened, and I'm so excited for the future. As one of the most decorated players in the class of 22, Rice dominated the amateur scene by leading Sidwell Friends to an undefeated season, culminating in her second state championship, while the McDonald's All American garnered Naismith um, um, HSPOY honors, solidifying herself as the clear number one point guard in her class. Um, Currently preparing for the Bruins' upcoming season, the Washington, D.C. native visited the Nike World headquarters in Beaverton to commemorate the signing, walking the halls of the famed Michael Jordan building and dipping into meetings while fitting in a quick workout in the Bo Jackson building's upstairs basketball gym. Um, in case you didn't know, HS, I believe stands for high school. High school, yeah, that's what it stands for. Um, yeah, that's what it stands for. So, end quote. When we were first driving up to the campus, I couldn't help but to just think incredible. As an athlete, sometimes we forget about everything that goes on behind the scenes, from footwear to apparel and all things in between. So it was insightful and eye-opening to be a part of meetings, provide feedback, and be a voice they listen to, Rice said. Dedicated toward serving her local community, Rice's deal with Jumpman will aim to combat the daily inequalities young girls face in sports. An initiative the brand has preferred um, since announcing its WNBA family campaign that saw the endorsement of 11 with stars including Derricker Hamby, Satal Sabali, and Kia Nurse. Being Jordan Brand's first NIL athlete is an incredible milestone, and I think it's a testament to the hard work I put in and all the people around me who have helped me get to this point, says Rice. Um, Signing with the Jordan brand is another motivating factor for me to continue to work hard and achieve my goals. While the Herald Air Jordan 1 remains her first pair of J's, the AJ 4 has since took the stage as her favorite silhouette to rock. While we can expect the Zion 2, Luca 1, and Air Jordan 37 to be in full flux for the freshman PG and her Jumpman endorsed UCLA squad this upcoming season. Of course, for more under the Jordan banner, check out the women's exclusive Air Jordan 11 Midnight Navy ahead of its release, of course, in November. Of course, you can check out some pictures. You can go to the website sneakernews.com. All right, so let's go to Nike. We're gonna go to Nike real quick. Hold on a second. Yes, so all right. Um all right, so Nike so the W so excuse me, the NBA unveiled all of the new 2022 to 23 Nike City Edition jerseys on Thursday, which can only mean one thing. It's time to rank all of them. 29 of the 30 teams released new jerseys as the Utah Jazz had to sit out on the run. No, excuse me, on the fun. Um, After they overhauled their entire jersey arsenal this summer. Hold on a minute. Okay. Shout outs to the people. Life podcast underscore 84 and pick with um pick with pick with no hold on a second. Pick with Noah and Nick. Shouts to them. Shouts to them for watching this live stream. I appreciate that. All right, so let's continue. All right, so that aside, um this was a really strong group of City Edition jerseys compared to years past, as many teams really went in unique directions to showcase their city. Um, but enough of the chit chat. Here are all 25 jerseys ranked from worst sorry Thunder to the very best. And you guys out there who's listening and watching on YouTube and of course Instagram Live right here, which is next to me. You can chime in on what you think about this topic right here that we're discussing. This is pertaining to the jerseys in the NBA and the colors. So starting with number 29, Oklahoma City Thunder. Jersey inspiration. This jersey is meant to show what it means to be an Oklahomian. No, hold on, an Oklahoman. As Oklahomans are driven by a distinct set of values called the Oklahoma Standard, which is which is built on a foundation of service, honor, and kindness. CBS Sports Take. I'm not entirely sure how this jersey tells me what it's like to be an Oklahoman. I also feel like I've seen this jersey a million times with the Thunder, just slightly altered. It's also not very different compared to their non city jerseys. Minnesota Timberwolves, number 28. Jersey inspiration. The Timberwolves jersey is meant to be an artistic statement of the city, showing the diverseness of the city. Each pattern across the chest is also uniquely different on each jersey, meaning no two are exactly the same. CBS Sports take on that is given how impressive the Purple Rain jersey. The Purple Rain. Purple Rain. Oh shit. That's fucking crazy. Purple Rain jersey. Why don't you just call it a purple plum jersey for all that matter? Oh man. Yeah, Purple Rain jerseys were a few years ago. I expected way more from Minnesota. Number 27, Sacramento Kings. Jersey inspiration. The jersey is meant to celebrate Kings fans as this season will mark the 10-year anniversary of the fight to keep the Kings in Sacramento. It's meant to showcase the fans who rallied and refused to back down in order to keep the Kings in Sacramento. CBS Sports take. Again, not sure what about this jersey represents the fans or the fight to keep the Kings in Sacramento, but okay. It's also the first time in the franchise history that the Kings will wear a gray uniform, and honestly, I hope it's the last. Gray jerseys always show so much sweat. This design would have just been so much better on a black jersey. You think? Oh man. Charlotte Hornets, number 26. Jersey inspiration. This jersey is meant to pay tribute to Charlotte's financial history as the home of the first U.S. branch mint and Carolina gold rush of the 1800s. The CLT across the chest is a nod to the city's abbreviation. CBS Sports Take. It's the news to me that the city of Charlotte uses CLT as an abbreviation, which is confusion since the Hornets also have worn jerseys featuring CHA across the chest in the past. The design is pretty sweet. The CLT, not so much. Yeah, it's pretty corny. That's really some corny shit though, man. I wouldn't even wear that shit, man. Number 25, Miami Heat. Jersey inspiration. The Heat are choosing to take last year's mashup jersey, showcasing lettering from each of the franchise's previous jerseys, and put it on a white uniform. Simple as that. CBS Sports Take states that I didn't care for this design when the Heat rolled it out last season, as it looks like a ransom note. A ransom note. A ransom note. Oh man. And I certainly don't care for it just on a white jersey. Bring back the Vikes uniforms. Oh shit. Number 24, Indiana Pacers. Jersey inspiration. The Pacers used this jersey as an opportunity to celebrate the completion of what was formerly called Bankers Fieldhouse, but now named Gamebridge Fieldhouse, which is where the team plays. And CBS Sports Take states that the gold pattern along the chest and down the side of the jersey mimics the structure of the arena, which is a clean, sleek integration, but I feel like it would have worked better if they chose either black or blue as the base color, not both. Number 23, Orlando Magic. Jersey inspiration. The diamond pattern all over the jersey is supposed to signify a suit of armor, celebrating the team's ability to protect its kingdom. CBS Sports Take states the design overall isn't terrible, but the explanation makes no sense, and I'm not the biggest fan of the font choice. It also has nothing to do with the city of Orlando. Oh shit. Damn. Damn. Shots fired. Number 22, Philadelphia 76ers. Jersey inspiration. The Sixers are playing off their nickname, the city of brotherly love, and paying homage to the city's connection to basketball at all levels. CBS Sports Take states, I'll give the Sixers credit for always trying something a little different with their jersey designs, and this is no different. The decision to have 4 words on the front of the jersey is certainly a questionable choice. But when you have a tagline like the city of brotherly love, then I'll allow it. Fun fact, the Greek translation of Philadelphia is city of brotherly love, which explains the nickname. Number 21, New Orleans Pelicans. Jersey inspiration, using the official colors of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras. Oh my gosh. Oh man, Mardi Gras is purple, green, and gold. The Pelicans are nodding to the city's heritage. City Sports Take states, while we've seen this exact design before, it really shines on a purple jersey. Number 20, Golden State Warriors. Jersey inspiration designed by Bay Area, aka Yay Area artist Allison Human. The the yellow rose represents women who change the game and lead fearlessly. CBS Sports Take states, I feel like these jerseys are going to be a love them or hate them situation. And while I don't stand in either camp, it really bothers me that you won't even be able to see the rolls because it's going to be tucked into shorts. Feels like it's just a black jersey with some yellow on it at that point. Wow, the shade, the shade, man. Number 19, Chicago Bulls. Jersey inspiration. The Y pattern all over the jersey is a nod to Chicago's architecture, specifically the Chicago municipal Y symbol, which can be seen throughout the city. CBS Sports Take states, not terrible, not great, just about average. Could have done a whole lot more with this color scheme, especially in a culture rich city like Chicago. Damn, that's more shade. That's more shade right there. Wow. Number 18, Houston Rockets. The jersey inspiration, the Rockets brought back the vintage throwback jerseys to celebrate the franchise's history. CBS Sports Take states, love the pinstripes, but I'm docking points because the Rockets are just recycling a jersey from last season. Damn. Oh shit. Surely they could have at least inverted the colors. It's also not very connected to the city of Houston specifically. Shit. Number 17, the Brooklyn Nets. Jersey inspiration. The Nets are paying tribute to Brooklyn born artist um Gene M- Michael Basquiat with the design all the way down to his signature crown on the jersey tag. CBS Sports Take says it's another recycled design from last year, but at least the Nets switched it from a black jersey to a white one. The Nets did a great job of keeping it understand and letting the design speak for itself. Number 16, where LeBron James is playing. Los Angeles Lakers. Jersey inspiration. This jersey is meant to celebrate both the artists and change makers in the city of Los Angeles. CBS Sports Take says the Lakers intentionally went with a simple design as a metaphor to say the uniform is not the story. It's a vehicle to tell the stories behind individual change makers around Los Angeles. It's simple. The purple shines against the white jersey, and the decision to go with black numbering was also a smart touch. Number 15, Toronto Raptors. Jersey inspiration, the all over pattern on the Raptors jersey is a deconstructed depiction to, no, excuse me, of Toronto's six boroughs. CBS Sports Take says the design is understated, but still plays off the connection to the city. The black and gold pattern has become a staple of the Raptors alternative jerseys since the OVO jerseys. And with that color scheme being a fan favorite, it makes sense to use it here too. Number 14, Los Angeles Clippers. Jersey inspiration, the Clippers are paying homage to South Los Angeles, the Drew League, and overall just LA's rich history of basketball at all levels. CBS Sports Take says, I love this. I love the story this jersey tells. The cursive font is a nice departure from what we're used to from the Clippers. And the multicolored background that sits behind the font is just fun enough that it isn't overpowering. Number 13, the New York Knicks. The last championship was like 1960s, right? Oh shit. Jersey inspiration. The Knicks pattern partnered with New York based streetwear brand Kith for this design, which is meant to celebrate the Knicks teams from the 90s to the 2000s. CBS Sports takes states the Knicks have such a classic color scheme that I feel like it's pretty difficult to mess it up. It's clean and simple and has enough tweaks to make a new spin on an old classic. Number 12, Cleveland Cavaliers. Excuse me. Number 12, Cleveland Cavaliers. Jersey inspiration. The Cavaliers are playing on the city's nickname, the land, while also using colors that represent certain aspects of the city and state, like the light blue ball meant to represent Lake Erie, and the brownish bronze color, which is meant to signify the area's bountiful soil. Lake Erie. Oh shit. CBS Sports states that the decision to use the land but in the retro Cavs font is so smart and ties together two eras of the franchise. I like the color scheme, though I do wish this was a black jersey instead. Whoa. Number 11, the San Antonio Spurs. Jersey inspiration on the style from the 1996 All Star game, which the Spurs hosted. San Antonio is going with the Fiesta style again. Wow. CBS Sports Take states, yes, the Spurs have done the Fiesta theme already, and yes, I docked other teams for recycling, but these jerseys are just cool. The bright turquoise, the the bright turquoise, no excuse me, it's turquoise is what I meant to say. And the Flintstone, the Flintstone looking font. Oh shit. These are just fun jerseys and a great way for San Antonio to celebrate its 50th season. Oh shit. Flintstone looking. Oh shit. Number 10, Denver Nuggets. Jersey inspiration. This jersey is inspired by Denver's architecture. And represents a city that's proud of its past but always driving forward. CBS Sports Take states the Nuggets are always really good at this. It's a simple design, but it works. The burnt orange really makes no really takes center stage against the white backdrop, and the detail on the side paneling makes the jersey look less empty. Number 9, Dallas Mavericks. Jersey inspiration. The Mavericks are paying homage to the connection of Dallas and Fort Worth with this jersey. Back in the 70s, Dallas leaders dubbed the two cities a metroplex, a new industrial complex and metropolis in the middle of the country. C Sports Take states, I'm just as shocked as you are that the Mavericks actually have a nice city edition jersey. It uses the retro team colors and retro 70s inspired font, but make it look new and fresh. Dallas is one of the few teams in the league in desperate need of a branding refresh, and these jerseys should be the starting point. Number 8, Detroit Pistons. Jersey inspiration. The Pistons collaborated with Detroit native and rapper Big Sean to create these jerseys. It's meant to celebrate the gym at Cecilia's an iconic Detroit staple amongst local hoopers. NBA legends like Isaiah Thomas, George Gervin, and Magic Johnson played there while growing up in Detroit. CBS Sports Take states the story behind these jerseys are exactly what the City Edition uniforms are all about. The green is a surprising departure from the red, white, and blue we would typically expect with the Pistons, and it totally works. It's simple, tells a story, and should be a huge hit with local fans. Hmm. Number 7, Boston Celtics jersey inspiration. The Celtics are celebrating the team's golden era with this jersey, which featured the late Bill Russell. Um, CBS Sports says another legacy franchise that didn't stray too far from tradition, but did just enough to knock it out of the park. The darker hue of green and the stylized script font to pay homage to the late great Bill Russell's playing days is the perfect tip of the cap to an NBA legend. Number 6, Milwaukee Bucks jersey inspiration. The Bucks used their jersey as a way to celebrate Bronzeville, one of the city's most diverse neighborhoods. CBS Sports Takes says, I I have a feeling these are going to look really cool in game action. The bright blue and the side panels pay homage to one of the city's most diverse neighborhoods is a really subtle way to pull off a jersey that is connected to the city, but not in an overwhelming way. Number 5, the Portland Trail Blazers jersey inspiration. The Blazers are pulling inspiration from the airport carpet that filled the floors of Portland's airport back in the 90s. CBS Sports states, okay, remember when I said the Hornets abbreviation was confusing? This one is not. Everyone knows that PDX stands for Portland. And the fact that the Blazers decided to pay homage to a carpet design inside their airport from the 90s is the exact type of nicheness I expect from this city and organization. The design is cool in itself, but the way they utilize it, like the typical sash we've seen from them in the past, is a nice touch. Number 4, Atlanta Hawks jersey inspiration. The Hawks gives a fresh take on their original Peachtree uniforms that they unveiled 3 years ago. It celebrates Georgia being known as the Peach State. The Peach State. Oh shit. Oh my fucking gosh. The Peach State. Oh shit. Oh man. CBS Sports Take says I will be starting a petition to have the Hawks permanently change their name to the Atlanta Peachtrees. Because these jerseys rule. Yes, we've seen them before, but they are so distinct and unique, and they deserve to be this high. The script font, the gradient numbering, the two different peaches hues on the trim. These are just wonderfully designed. Number 3, Washington Wizards jersey inspiration. The Wizards pulled an inspiration from the iconic cherry blossoms that overtake the city every spring. The blue on the shorts represents the water that the cherry blossoms fall into. CBS Sports takes states the cherry blossom pattern on these are amazing, and the gradient blue on the shorts makes it so the players don't look like walking bottles of Pepto Bismol. Oh, oh my fucking gosh. I like that fucking metaphor here, man. That's funny. It is it too much pink? Perhaps. I would have liked to have seen a more toned down version of this, but it's so unique, so connected to the city, and it actually looks nice. Number two, the Phoenix Suns. Jersey inspiration. Uh, I'm sorry for laughing about the Pepto Bismol joke, but I have to do this, man. Hold on. Yes, Phoenix Suns, the Jersey inspiration. The Suns are paying respect to the 22 indigenous tribes that call Arizona home with these jerseys. CBS Sports take states the Suns have done a great job with their city edition jerseys in the past, and this is no exception. The only thing I would change is not using the sunburst logo and instead having the word Suns or Phoenix across the chest. Damn, the shade. Damn, the shade, man. Are you serious? Damn. No, damn. They ass is fucking hurt right now. Okay, okay, folks. I had to laugh, man. This is so fucking funny right now. And finally, the number one team is the Memphis Grizzlies. Jersey inspiration, the Grizzlies are celebrating the city's connection to hip hop and rap culture with their city edition jerseys. The design is inspired by local hip hop album art, with certain design elements also paying tribute to specific Memphis landmarks. CBS Sports takes states there isn't a team in the league as connected to their city as the Grizzlies are to Memphis. I mean, they got Memphis born rapper Glorilla to star in a hype video at the start of the season. Also, the Grizzlies grill right above the jersey tag needs to be on merchandise going forward because that is just so authentically Memphis. Wow. And our last topic for the night in the sports world, another Nike news. And this is according to hypebeast.com right here. So Nike launches new Web3 platform Swish, inviting Nike members to interact and co-create with the Swish digitally. Okay, here it is. While today Nike celebrates 50 years of business, it also serves as day one for its newest project, Swoosh. A web a Web3 platform Swoosh answers the shift to an increasingly digital world by operating as an inclusive experience for Nike's community and creators. The launch follows Nike's acquisition of RTFKT, a leading fashion and sneaker NFT brand that took place in December 2021. Leveraging this experience, Nike further taps into the digital space with Swoosh. In the next step forward for the American sportswear giant, Nike members are able to learn about, collect, and eventually help co-create virtual creations. These digital goods are said to be items such as shoes and jerseys with the opportunity to sport them in select video games and experiences. In addition to this, the swoosh has shared that some of these creations will be brought into the physical world as well. The swoosh platform serves as a place for not only collecting and creating, but a place to buy and trade as well. Winners of the event such as community challenges, are even able to earn royalties for their virtual co-creations. For those looking to participate in Swoosh, registration begins this month as the community grows, starting in the United States and select European countries. Nike will launch its first digital collection in 2023. Stay tuned as additional information is expected to follow in the coming weeks. In the meantime, you can check out the Swoosh website as it continues to evolve. And you can follow them on Instagram as well, dot swoosh on the gram. So, and of course, obviously, you can actually follow them as well. So this is crazy interesting right here, though, man. And in other footwear news, during Yoon um On's latest trip to the Nike World HQ headquarters, actually, she showed off a look at a green and yellow ambush and Nike Air Force One low. Wow. Wow. Like I said, you can follow dot swoosh on Instagram. All right. And that's gonna do it for this episode right here this show right here, which is the 40th episode right here of the Sports Edition show of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. And last but not least, we are going to go to our last segment of the night, which is stream choices on the go, man. I'm going to actually break down where you can listen to the episodes and where you can follow on social media. So here we go. All right. You love what you heard in sports topics? Why don't you go ahead and show your love by following Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast on the gram, which is on Instagram, alongside with my other show, which is Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, the review show that I do, which is my other platform. And of course, you can also listen to my number one show with 206 episodes. Episode 207 will be dropped tomorrow. That'll be 207 episodes. So which is off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast on Facebook and Instagram, alongside with myself on the primary handle on the gram, which is your homie G Money Stacks, of course. G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. And you can turn on your notifications where you can actually be able to be in the know on when each episode is going to be dropping. And as I said earlier, starting this Wednesday, episode 39 will be dropped, and episode 40 will be dropped on Thursday. All right. So, without further ado, and also don't forget to check out dot swoosh on Instagram as well. You can follow them as well. I'm actually going to follow them on the gram as well after I get off the air. All right, so let's get into where you can listen to the episodes. If you go to the link in bio where it says Linktree / Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks, actually Vibrant podcast, you can actually see a whole list of audio streaming platforms, including the ones you can visually watch. You can leave a voice message on there as well. With any questions, any topics, anything you want to talk about involving sports topics that I put on for you folks that's listening. And of course, starting with Anchor, we are on Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM, Podcast Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podorama, Podopolo, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, and you can listen to Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, Sports Edition show episodes on Radio Public alongside with iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. And you don't need a credit card or a debit card to download these apps. It's all free, folks. You know what I'm saying? It's all free. You can't go wrong with that. You can download it on your iPhones. You can download it to your Android phones. You can download it to your iPads, and of course your Android tablets are welcomed. All right. um Yeah, you make sure you follow my other two shows is also on there, which is Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show with 98 episodes in the books. And of course, make sure you follow my number one show, which is Off the Meat Rat Chains New York Podcast. 206 episodes on iHeartRadio as well. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, and of course rate and all the other stuff. And last but not least, make sure you grab that subscribe button from me on the YouTube channel page of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks Podcast, the Sports Edition show page. Click on the noni bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream, alongside with leaving a like and a comment. More video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes for you to catch up on in case you miss any of them. Everything's uploaded to the YouTube channel page and audio streaming platforms. Be sure to download these episodes, especially your favorite, especially the ones that's your favorite. And of course, be sure to share the episodes, share the videos, excuse me. And of course, be sure to tell a friend to another friend. Spread the word. Word of mouth is important. And of course, be sure to share the link that says Linktree / Excellent Fun Vibrant podcast along with the podcast itself. Make sure you share the podcast along with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, and the people you're cool with from work, and everybody else where you meet, as far as like fun activities, events, and all that other stuff. If anybody out there likes sports and stuff like I do, have them listen to this podcast right here, man. Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast right here. And and as I said before, I did add the name, I did add a word to the title, which is talks. So all that is explained on either episode 33 or 34 for that matter. Yeah, 33 or 34 actually. So you can check those out as well. And of course, that's gonna do it for me. I'm G Money Stacks. Thank you very much for listening and taking the time to watch these episodes. And of course, I appreciate every single one of you who actually tuned in from the international world of of all the places, especially the USA, Canada, and of course, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the 5 boroughs of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens. I appreciate every single one of you who took the time to do this. And remember, the grind doesn't stop. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. New York wasn't built in a day. And of course, um, find your voice, be confident in what you do creatively, and also be sure to, find something that makes you smile and gets you into your zone creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually, alongside with tunnel vision, confidence, instincts, the consistency in creating content, which is very important too. Um, Follow your goals and dreams is very important too. And don't give up on your dreams, especially when the outcome is a little crazy and stuff. So, do what works for you. Don't worry about nobody else whatsoever. Do you and do what makes you smile. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually doing what makes me smile right now, though. You know what I'm saying? But that's gonna be another story for another time, man. I'm out of here. I'm off this shit. Thank you very much. And I hope y'all enjoy your Thanksgiving week with some meals to eat along with the family, in-laws, whoever you want to invite, whatsoever though, man. Enjoy your Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving in advance. So, peace and one love, and have yourselves a good night, folks.